What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. Let's go to Oaklawn Park on Sunday, March 1st, the first day of March, and our first Kentucky Derby prep race of March will be the Rebel Stakes, coming to you Sunday. Again, I'll repeat it on Sunday and not Saturday. Usually these are big races coming up on Saturday. Oaklawn going to run the Rebel this year on Sunday. So this is going to be an awesome race, a 50-pointer here. So pretty much a win and you're in. If you win this one, you're going to have 50 points. That'll almost 100% get you to the Kentucky Derby. Shout out to Oaklawn Park for getting us out the morning line odds in time. No matter how they may be, they're still out there. So that is good that we have that. And like I said, we've got the full field of 10 up there on the screen for you now. All right, let's get to it. Let's go through them one by one. And we'll start with the number one, Bravaro. And we do start with a horse that may or may not be here, unfortunately. Bravaro also entered into the Fountain of Youth Stakes. We are unsure at this point, as we record this, about a week away from the Rebel, actually, a week exactly away. We're unsure where he's going to run just yet. He is based in Gulfstream Park, so perhaps he stays at Gulfstream. However, he does have Sappy Joseph, his trainer, does have a couple of horses entered in the Fountain of Youth, so Bravaro could head up to Oaklawn. If he's here, I think he's got a chance. I mean, he's kind of to me, he's kind of a hit the board candidate. Yeah, no matter where he goes, he's kind of bred for, mile 16th. That might be kind of it. I don't know how far he wants to ultimately go, but he's a nice horse. He'll come with a little bit of a run. He did in the Holy Bull when he was second. Now, he was not competitive with Nearly, but he did run a pretty nice second in that spot. So we'll see if Bravaro shows up here or Gulfstream. If he shows up here or Gulfstream, either one, actually, I think he's got a little bit of a shot. Another horse who was entered once upon a time to run at Oaklawn Park and scratched and, would not be shocked if he did it again with Bob Baffert and how he changes his mind, on a dime, it feels like sometimes. Let's talk about the number 2 Litmus Test. This was a horse that was entered to run in the Southwest last time out at Oaklawn Park. He didn't come. And Baffert said, I never really intended for him to come. Well, here we are about a month later, and he's entered again. So we'll see if he comes this time for the Rebel. A horse that obviously I think everybody's kind of waiting to see what he does. And if he comes back, in good order for his 3-year-old season, he's one that is interesting. He was running behind. He was running behind Ted Noffe a couple of times. He wasn't all that competitive with him, but he was kind of within the realm, especially in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And then he went to the Los Alamitos for Charity. He caught a pretty easy field, basically just his stablemates that he had to beat that day. But he did do it, and he looked very nice doing it. So once he got away from Ted Noffe, he got a victory. Now, there's no Ted Noffe obviously in here either. He's working pretty well. Baffert's been on record saying this is his best 3-year-old. So there's a lot of positives here for Litmus Test coming into this one. We'll see how he runs. I think he'll be okay. I think he's ready to rock. I think if he shows up here, it means he's doing really well. I think if he's not doing really well, he could just scratch him and run him next week at home in the San Felipe. So I think if he shows up, he's ready to run a big race. So Litmus Test there at number 2. What about the number 3 Class President? I think this is a very interesting horse as well. A horse coming off a second-place effort in the Swale last time out. That was a 7-furlong race. I really don't think this horse wants to go 7 furlongs. He wants 2 turns. He'll get it here for the first time. He ran well in the Swale. He got second, beaten by Solitude Dude, who I think is very good at that distance of 7 furlongs. Solitude Dude's going to try to stretch out. We'll see how that goes in the Fountain of Youth. But Class President right here stretching out, I think makes a ton of sense. The only, and I wouldn't even call it a worry, it's just kind of a something that makes you go, well, that's interesting. Jackson Hole's going to run at home in the Fountain of Youth in Gulfstream Park. Class President's shipping out of Gulfstream Park to run here in the Rebel. Part of me is like, well, maybe your best horse you'd want to run at home, who's the best horse who's ready to run right now, you'd want to run at home at Gulfstream. The other part of me is like, well, it's $1 million up here. So maybe you're, sending your best one up to Oaklawn that's ready to run this weekend. Maybe they're kind of the same. And he just said, okay, we'll do one somewhere and one the other. I don't really know on that. Just kind of speculating, really. And that's all you can really do. So I like Class President. I really liked his last race. I think he's got a great shot to win in this spot as well. The number 4 is Blackout Time. This horse is another one, just like Litmus Test. I'm sure we'll be happy that Ted Naffe's not around here for these early races and all the way up even till the summer, because Blackout Time ran very well last time out in the Breeders' Futurity, but got second to Ted Naffe. So just couldn't really compete with him. He was going to try to compete with him once again in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but was scratched out of that race, and a kind of a controversial scratch. The Kenny McPeak said nothing was really wrong with him. The vet scratched him. It was kind of a whole thing. But look, making the first start since Keeneland back in October, I think it's going to be a little bit of a test. I don't expect to see the absolute best out of Blackout Time here. I also do not think he'll be 8-5. I think you could flip Litmus Test and Blackout Time's odds, and that would probably be closer to what you're going to see. But I just don't think you're going to see the absolute best from him here. I could definitely see him, though, being in the Kentucky Derby. I think his next race will be his best. I think he'll run okay here. I don't know that he's going to be one that's going to be able to win coming off that kind of a layoff. The number 5 is Honey's to Blame. Archibred going to try it out here. Going to try Open Company. A couple of nice wins. Did beat Open Company last time out in an allowance race and looked okay doing it. And anytime an Archibred can beat Open Company, I don't care if it's the stakes or whatever, then they're pretty good. They're pretty high up on the list for being a state bred out of Arkansas. So local, favorite, I guess, local rooting interest, probably be the best way to put it. Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. I love that they're giving him a shot, as is Kenny McPeak as well. So take a swing, see what happens. All right, 2 Kenny McPeak horses there with the 4 and the 5. Let's go to 2 Mark Cassie horses next. The number 6 is Strategic Risk. He was very impressive 3 races back, beating up company there in Florida at Gulfstream Park. And then he was pretty impressive 2 races back, winning the Smarty Jones Stakes, taking advantage of kind of a slow pace and just kind of dominating down the lane. Unfortunately, it all kind of came to a crashing halt last time out in the Southwest. He did not pick up his feet much there. Not a lot of, not the greatest trip, number 1, and just didn't do a lot of running, number 2. So he's looking to bounce back. And then you're talking about these Mark Cassie runners. Well, Mark Cassie wins the Smarty Jones with 1 horse. He wins the Southwest with the number 7 Silent Tactic, who was second in the Smarty Jones. So unlike Strategic Risk, Silent Tactic's kind of been, has been the consistent horse of the 2. Second in the Smarty Jones. He was basically the only one that closed much ground in that race. Like I said, not a lot of pace in that race, and it was kind of a merry-go-round, except for Silent Tactic. He made up nice ground, projected up to be, hey, when there's pace, this horse can be pretty good. And I thought he ran exceptionally well in the Southwest. They came back to him. They slowed up a little bit. He just circled the field and went right on by. Why can't he do this here? There's pace in this race again. I'm not sure as much as what he saw last time out, but there's pace in this race. Like I said, why can't he do it again? I think he can. Number 7, Silent Tactic, I think, is in here with a big shot. Number 8, Rancho Santa Fe. I'm kind of done with him, guys. The Smarty Jones, it was one of those races where he got a horrific trip. I don't know if it was the ride. I don't know if he just didn't want to pick up his feet, but they loped along there. They set fractions where his previous races, if he would have ran those kind of races, he would have been in front. Instead, he's in the back. He didn't really do much. And then the Southwest, he looked like he was in a pretty good spot. He backs up on the turn. I'm like, wow, he's just kind of done. And then he comes running again. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. I just can't with him, I guess. I guess that's the best way to put it. I'm just not a fan of this one. So he's not for me. Hey, if he wins, that's great. He keeps getting great jockeys. Irad Ortiz that is going to ride this time. So Flavian Pratt had been on before. I don't know. It's tough for me to back him in the spot, I guess is how I should say it. The number 9 is Time for Music. Asmussen just kind of, I don't know. To me, it's just like, let's throw him in there and give it a shot. 7th in an allowance last time out. He finished 9th in the Remington Park Springboard Mile. I don't know. I don't see much with him either. We'll just go to the next one. And the next one is another Steve Asmussen horse, number 10, Soldier and Diplomat. Yeah, look, I underestimated him in the Southwest. I really didn't think he would run as well as he did. Unfortunately, he's drawn way to the outside once again. Now, he's not quite as far as he was out last time out in the Southwest. But look, he hung in there and he battled. And I think what you could say about him, he might be kind of similar to Chip Honcho, another Steve Asmussen runner, in the fact that they're going to kind of fight it. You're going to have to work to get by him. But at the end of the day, they're probably going to finish second, third, fourth, somewhere there. It's like Soldier and Diplomat and Chip Honcho. They're lacking that that kind of that late kind of surge, right? That next gear that you need to kind of finish a race off. They're lacking that a little bit, and I also think Soldier Diplomat might not really truly want to go 2 turns. I think he might be best once he goes 1 turn. But look, I mean, he's been good enough to give it another try after running second in the Southwest. So I like him. I think he's pretty admirable, honestly, and I do think he tries. And look, if some of them behind don't run all that well, who's to say he can't jump up and get the job done? All right, that is the field of 10. I like a 10 to 1 shot in here. I'm going to go number 3, Class President, on top in this spot. I don't know, guys. I really like the maiden special weight on debut race from Class President. I thought it was very good. And he debuted, I don't know, maybe a week or 2 after Jackson Hole. And I really thought Class President was the better horse that day. I really thought the Swale was a good race for him. And I think it really should set him up to go 2 turns. This is a true 2-turn horse, in my opinion, talking about Class President. I really think that's what he wants to do. He's by Uncle Mo, obviously out of a quality road mare. So, I mean, obviously that doesn't really scream sprinting. That screams at least go a mile 16th, right? So I think it's a great spot for him. So I'm going to go number 3, Class President, on top. I'm going to go number 2, Litmus Test, in second. I do believe this horse will come here and run big. He'll be one I'm using heavy everywhere, in exactus tries, pick 3, 4, 5, what have you. I'm not, Litmus Test, I'm not leaving off. I think he's got a great shot. I do like number 7, Silent Tactic, in third, and I'll go number 4, Blackout Time, in fourth. So 3, 2, 7, 4 is how I look at this one. Going to take a shot with Class President, a horse that's in pretty good form. Hopefully, he can come in here and get the job done. So 3, 2, 7, 4. All right, guys. That'll do it for this preview of the Rebel Stakes live from Oaklawn Park. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Oaklawn Park on Sunday, March 1st.